Coming up, almost 40% of the food supply in the U.S. goes directly to waste. One company has a plan to help reduce that number. We'll talk to the CEO straight ahead. Well, climate change and pollution have been hot topics from the campaign trail here in the U.S. to the World Economic Forum in Davos. One area of waste that does not always get as much attention: food waste. When food is wasted, when we waste food, all the water, energy, labor, agricultural chemicals, and other resources that go into growing, storing, and transporting, they get thrown out too. That adds up to an economic loss of $218 billion each year. Here with us now is the CEO of a company called BioHiTech, Frank Celli, to talk to us more about what to do about this. And you guys have a product that is a waste digester, effectively. Correct. A food waste digester. You're putting them on Carnival cruise ships, which seems to make sense. How does this work?
So the process that our Revolution digesters use is what we call an aerobic digestion process. It's essentially naturally reoccurring bacteria that rapidly decomposes food, turns it into a liquid that's safe to discharge down the drain into ordinary wastewater treatment facilities. So eliminating all the logistical costs, environmental impacts, and so on and so forth of the transportation and disposal of that type of waste. Probably more importantly to us at BioHiTech is the fact that the measurement and the transparency of this amount of waste is really critical. Over a third of the food produced in the United States ends up being wasted. So measurement and tracking and transparency into those waste streams, understanding, is critical. So our units are smart.
I want to, your units, one unit is the size of a dishwasher.
Correct.
But you've got a huge facility. Is it in West Virginia?
Correct, yeah.
And essentially the technology we're talking about, it's not a glamorous subject, but they do this at sewage treatment plants.
They do.
So I was curious, the byproduct of turning food into liquid, there's still a sludge, right? Is there no sludge?
There'll be a small amount of solid effluent that typically will be treated in wastewater treatment plants as regular sewage is actually treated.
And does the byproduct of your process, is it methane gas? Because that can have
No.
It's not. So what's the byproduct?
No. So we've got two technologies. The Revolution digesters will install on the Carnival ships.
Right.
Those are aerobic digesters. They'll be located at the point of waste generation, where that food waste will be converted into liquid. That liquid will be processed in a typical wastewater treatment facility, and then it's clean to discharge.
But there's no gas, there's no carbon dioxide, there's no methane?
No, there's not, because the process is actually a real-time process. So our Revolution digesters will process anywhere from 50 to 150 pounds of food waste in an hour. So food isn't decomposing, it's not rotting. That's what essentially ends up becoming giving off methane gases in a landfill, for instance. While that waste is sitting there and decaying, the natural process will emit methane gases, carbon dioxides, and so on and so forth. In our on-site digesters, it's real time, right? So it very much works like a human stomach. We call it a robotic stomach. So the same way your body absorbs the nutrients in that food waste and uses them for energy, the bacteria will do the same. The effluent will be this liquid that'll end up in a wastewater treatment facility. The facility you're talking about in West Virginia is what we call our HEBIOT technology, high efficiency biological treatment. This is a much bigger facility. So this is where actually municipal trucks will deliver large volumes of mixed waste to our plant. We'll use a combination of mechanical and biological processing there to convert that waste into an EPA-approved renewable fuel. So what we're doing there is we're evaporating essentially the moisture content in the organic fraction, which is 30 to 40% of all waste is water, quite frankly. We're then putting it through a fairly complex technological process, dehydrating it, removing traditional recyclables, removing harmful contaminants like PVC, and converting it into a fuel that can be used to offset up to 30% of coal. So there's no methane emissions there.
And so we know that Carnival specifically did have, some issues with that. They've been fined $20 million middle of last year for environmental concerns. So looking at how this operates in that structure in the ship, one of the worst nightmares anyone has on a cruise ship is the backlog, right? We've seen so many times where that's been the case. How does your system not avoid that?
The backlog in what sense?
In the way that they do in like a waste system, the way that it
Where's the liquid go?
Oh, so the ships are equipped. Politically correct way of it, right? So the ships are equipped with advanced wastewater treatment facilities. So as you know, there is obviously plenty of human waste generated on cruise ships, obviously. So that all needs to be treated on board. Our units will be installed actually in the galleys. So the best place to deal with waste is at its point of generation to eliminate sort of the logistical efforts needed to move it around ships and store it and whatnot. The beauty is it's real time, right? So as food is deposited into one of our digesters at the point of generation, it'll simply be piped into the traditional sewer pipes and end up in the wastewater treatment plants, just like the bathroom waste does.
Just want to point out, it's not glamorous, but it's very cool. You're a publicly traded company.
Not super glamorous.
But no, it is cool, because I went on your website and I was looking at that huge facility you've got. And if you're interested in this kind of thing, the market cap right now is about $36 million, but I imagine it's going to be growing.
I hope so.
All right, Frank Celli, BioHiTech CEO, thank you very much for
Thank you very much.